want to discover the flame that hides within you? Do you want to take a journey to discover your authentic self? I am Maria Felachidou, systemic consultant and Colour Psychodynamics practitioner. Together, we will explore ways to discover your inner flame. Hello, come, make yourself comfortable, take a deep breath and relax. If you want, you can close your eyes for a moment and answer me honestly. How many times in your life have you felt that in order to belong, you had to make yourself smaller, to speak more quietly, to ask for less, to not get angry, to not express your needs, or to not be too much? And how many times have you stayed in a relationship not because you were truly happy, but because you were afraid that outside of it you wouldn't belong anywhere? Today, I want us to talk about this, about whether we can belong without shrinking. Because mature connections does not ask for self-erasure, it asks for presence. You will ask me, what does it mean to belong? Well, from the moment we are born, the need to belong is a matter of survival. Our nervous system is wired for connection. But here is a subtle and powerful distinction. A child belongs through adaptation, whereas an adult belongs through authenticity. When you were a child, if you said no and were rejected, that felt like a threat. So you learned to adapt, to be the good one, to not disturb, to take care of others, to read the emotional climate of the room. And this, all of this, helped you then. But today? Today you may still be doing the same thing in your relationships. But that doesn't mean it still works. And this is where your shrinking begins. Let's take a look at this situation from a systemic perspective. In systemic work, every human being carries a deep existential need to have a place, to have the right to exist within a system. From this perspective, I belong as I am means I don't have to take on a role in order to have a place. I don't have to sacrifice myself to be accepted. I don't have to repeat an old family pattern to remain included. Many of us, without realizing it, carry invisible loyalties. We stay in relationships that hurt us because somewhere deep inside we have learned that love hurts, like the song, you remember? Or that distance equals abandonment, or that leaving the situation equals betrayal. So we don't stay because it is right for us. We stay so that we remain loyal to the past. The question many people bring into our work is, I know this relationship is draining me, so why can't I leave? Well, let me tell you, this is not weakness. It's not just low self-worth, low self-esteem. It's the fear that without this relationship, I will be alone, without a place, without a reflection. And for our nervous system, loneliness can feel more threatening than toxicity, than a toxic relationship. And this is the everyday dilemma. Choosing familiar pain over unfamiliar freedom. And believe me when I tell you that many of us choose the pain we know rather than the freedom we don't know. Let me give you something practical here. How does a safe relationship feel like? Well, let me give you some examples, some phrases. Number 1, I can disagree without losing the connection. Number 2, I can say no without being punished. Number 3, I don't have to constantly prove my worth. Number 4, words and actions are consistent. And number 5, there is space for my emotions. And most importantly, I don't feel like I have to shrink to stay. On the other hand, an unsafe or emotionally risky or even toxic relationship feels like, number 1, I'm walking on eggshells. Number 2, I'm afraid to speak openly. Number 3, I feel guilt without a clear reason. Number 4, there is manipulation or silent punishment. And number 5, I feel that if I express myself, I might lose the relationship. Listen to your body. In safe relationships, the body relaxes. In unsafe ones, it tenses. The body knows. You need to trust your body. Well, what changes when you stand by yourself? Well, this is the heart of today's episode. When you begin to stand by yourself, you stop begging to be understood. You stop blaming yourself. You stop saying, maybe I'm asking too much. And you begin to say, what I feel makes sense. Self-support changes 3 fundamental things. First one, it regulates your nervous system. Second, it lowers your tolerance for mistreatment. And third, it gives you an internal anchor. When you don't have that internal anchor, you hold on to people, you hold on to others. And that is difficult because others may leave for whatever reason, not because of you, for whatever reason. And where does that leave you then? But when you actually do have that internal anchor, then relationships become a choice, not a need for survival. Now it's time for my favorite part of this podcast, the small guided exercise. So take a deep breath, place your hand on your chest, and bring to mind a relationship where you feel yourself shrinking. Now gently ask, what am I afraid will happen if I stop shrinking? What old story is being activated here? How old do I feel in this moment? Now, imagine your adult self standing beside you, not to push you, but to support you. And silently say, I don't have to shrink to belong. I am here with you. Stay with that feeling of self-support, of self-acknowledgement. And when you feel ready, take a couple of deep breaths and open your eyes slowly. Now let's take a look of how color psychodynamics can support healthy relationships. Colour Psychodynamics reveals your energetic blueprint, your life's blueprint. It shows how you relate, where you overgive, where you fear receiving, where you lose your boundaries. Let me give you a couple of examples. A strong rose profile may give unconditionally to others, but forgets its own limits. Whereas a strong red may fear dependency and withdraw before getting hurt in order to avoid getting hurt. On the other hand, an indigo may feel deeply, but decides to close off to stay protected. When you understand your color profile, you stop blaming yourself. You understand your pattern, and then relationships become a space of awareness, not confusion. So the real question is not, will everyone stay if I am myself? The real question is, do I want people to stay if I have to shrink to keep them close to me? Mature love does not say to you, lose yourself for me. It says, bring yourself here. And if a relationship cannot hold your truth, it may have never been safe to begin with. Sorry for being so forward, but it is what it is. Remember this, you were not born to fit in. You were born to exist. You were born to live your life to the fullest, to live the life you deserve. You were born to live. And the right connection does not make you smaller. It allows you to expand. The right relationship, the right connection helps you, supports you to expand. In the next episode, we go one step deeper and look into when we belong to ourselves first. We'll explore how to build an internal sense of belonging, how to stop depending on external validation, and how your relationships change when you no longer wait to be chosen, but you begin to choose. Until then, notice where you shrink, not with judgment, but with kindness and compassion to yourself, because change doesn't begin with self-rejection. It begins with self-support. And maybe, just maybe, today is the first day you allow yourself to belong without becoming smaller. If this episode made you think, stay with it. If you were touched by this episode, then share it with others. And if you felt that something inside you moved, then write to me. Because it's never too late to discover your inner flame. Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Inner Flame podcast with systemic consultant and Colour Psychodynamics practitioner Maria Felachidou. Search for this podcast on Spotify and follow Inner Flame on Instagram and Facebook.